So we have a problem. And if you've ever kept chickens in a backyard setting, you've probably had this problem too. We don't have any grass. You can see front yard grass, backyard, got a little marshy area, but greenery. Chicken yard, not so much. I'd like to give these girls the opportunity to scratch around and eat some greens. So we're gonna try something I found online. Let's see if it works. Went to my local Tractor Supply, picked up this bag of whole oat grains. They're made for horses and cows mainly, but saw online that it can grow some pretty good grass, so let's give it a shot. Here's what the grain looks like outside of the bag. Now, if I don't want these girls to just go and eat the grain before it's sprouted, I need to be pretty strategic about where I put the grains. Otherwise, they'll just eat it like any other snack. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it in 3 different places to start with and see how well it works. First is gonna be over here. We have a bunch of tires around the yard, just as little jungle gyms for them to play on, hide in, scratch around, what have you. However, we have one set that is 2 stacked on each other, and since it's pretty tall, the chickens rarely ever get down into it. So what we're going to do is going to do some seeds down there, let that grow, and then if it does end up growing up before they get to it, I'll just move the tires, and ideally we'll just have a patch of grass right there in the shape of a circle. So we'll see. All right, and the next one we're gonna try. So we have this pool that was supposed to be enrichment just for them to hang out in. It has since become upside down and just collects a little bit of rainwater for them to drink out of every once in a while, but definitely not for what the pool's designed for. So what we're gonna do is leave it upside down. We're gonna sprinkle some on the ground over here, wet it, and then put the pool back on top of it as a protective cover. So anytime I let the girls out to free range out in this yard, we'll keep the pool cover on it so they can't get to the grass. And then when they're back inside, we'll take the cover off so that it can get some sunlight and hopefully grow. So let's get to that. All right, so there we go, our nice little pool shaped. So let's go ahead and wet it, and ideally that's all it's going to need is to get a little wet. It'll start to sprout good grass. All right, so got the hose. I'm just going to wet this down a little bit, not too much but enough, get them soaked, hopefully grow. At least the ones down there, the ones still hanging in the spider web, I'm sure the girls will get to. And I'm gonna wet this one over here too. All right. So the one on the tire, I'm gonna leave how it is because they usually don't get down to the deep down in there. I'll probably knock down spider web so all these ones hanging aren't enticing to the girls and then end up in there. All right, so those are deep down in there, so hopefully they don't get to them. These are wet, ready to go. So I'm just gonna bring the pool and put it on top, at least mostly on top, and we'll see how those go. So those are the 2 spots out here for them, and then now we're gonna let them out because there's one more spot, but it's inside. All right. Now they're curious what I was doing out here. I think there's a bunch of foods there all looking for it, but Millie knows how to make an entrance. All right. So the last spot is this right here. When we first put the girls out here, we built them this garden box, and there was a bunch of herbs inside of it. And when those grew up through the mesh, the chickens could eat them. But long story short, we had some problem with some rats, so they've tunneled throughout here, killed everything. So we're gonna try the new seeds. Should I build some grass in here? So the way this garden box works, it's got hinges on the back side, and then it's just got these hooks on the front side. So all you gotta do is pull the hooks up, and then opens right up so you can access it in order to garden inside. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna put a little bit more soil in here. We had this graded because some of the herbs were taller than others. So the shorter ones were down at this end where it's higher. Taller ones were down at this end where it was lower. So we're gonna try to make that pretty even because it's all one seed this time. So we're gonna put some soil in here and then put the seeds in, and hopefully it grows. You can see them already trying to dig at the edges of the pool to try to get all the greens that I put down there. But got soil in here. We had some leftover potting mix from when we first did this garden box, so just put that in there to kind of level it out. And we're going to give a generous, very generous amount of seeds in here. So we want this to grow up and be nice and dense and fun for them. So of course, probably should have closed the door. Didn't think about that, but there we go with those. So just gotta close this up. Actually, probably do another whole scoop. I just want to cover this completely, but we'll close this up while I go to get the other scoop so that the girls don't continue to eat it. But see how that works. Close it up, they can't get to it. Let it grow up. Let's get another scoop. All right, we got 2 whole scoops in there, so now we just need to wet it down. We should be good to go, and we'll just wait and see what happens. It's a week later, so let's see how the oats are growing. So I gotta say, I knew this one probably wouldn't work well. As you can see, within about an hour, the chickens had started jumping down into the tires and eating all the oats out. They really love food, and their food drive is super high. They didn't get in the tires before because there was no food down there, but as soon as they could see it, they were all jumping in there, just having a field day. So that one didn't work well. If I was going to do it again, I would just put some physical barrier, maybe a piece of wood or something over top, let it grow up, and then take the wood off so they could get to it. So that one didn't work. The second one, the pool, again, underestimated the food drive, and really not only the food drive but the strength of these chickens, because what they did is they would see where this lip is. When I put the oats down, they were in this run right here, which they could look right here and see me put them down. So even though I covered it up, they went and were pushing this all around and ate all of the greens except for a tiny little batch right there that hasn't sprouted yet, but that's all that's left. I had this entire area underneath covered, and they just pushed the pool until they got to them, which I'm impressed that they could even push it. But if there's a will, there's a way, and if there's a food, they're gonna find it. Now, this last one is a success. You can see since this garden box, they can't get down to the grains. They actually started growing and sprouting, and it's super bright, vibrant grass, which is really promising given that it's fall time around here. The trees are dropping leaves, the grass is dying off, but this is growing up really nice. So all I had to do was water it every couple of days and just let it do its thing, and it started sprouting up. And there's a lot more in here that haven't sprouted yet, so I hope it's going to continue. We'll keep watering it, and they've already started to be able to reach the very tips and chew off any pieces that they can get through the hardware cloth. So it's working out great. Definitely recommend it, and I'm gonna probably plant some more as soon as these sprout a little bit more to see what's in there, because I just want this to be one super densely packed garden box for them all throughout the fall into the winter. So all in all, internet was right. It works. It's a pretty cheap and ineffective way to get them greens. So try it out. Let me know you guys' results as well. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay Pyrfect.